So here's a counterfactual. If
Yeah.
Calvinists would have ignored my book, I would have forgotten about them years ago.
Right. And so there's some
Yeah.
people that ask, well, why spend so much time? Isn't this kind of friendly fire? We've got a lot of things to talk about in the church, and you're spending a lot of time talking about exhaustive divine determinism and Calvinism. So why is that so important to you? And what is the purpose as far as ministry goes as you tackle those topics?
Yeah, I mean, it is friendly fire, but let me say, to quote Billy Joel, we didn't start the fire.
Oh, there you go.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, I'm shooting back, if you will, at the people who, my friends who were firing at me first. So, look, I hear this all the time too. The reason why I spend so much time attacking Calvinism is twofold. Maybe it's threefold. Yeah, there's probably multiple reasons,
Yeah.
but let me
Lots of
let me go.
folds.
Yeah, lots of folds here. Okay, so first, let me make this clear. This is back in 2012 when I started advancing the first iterations of the free thinking argument publicly. So I was, and that was a free thinking argument against naturalism, atheistic naturalism. And so it was not the atheists at the time who were putting up much of a fight, because I think it's a pretty good argument. I got some pushback, and I've addressed that, but most of the disagreement, most of the pushback wasn't from the atheists and the naturalists. I was taking friendly fire from brothers in Christ. It was Calvinists who were standing up for the atheists, in effect, standing up for the atheists whose worldviews I was trying to systematically deconstruct. I was trying to show atheists why their atheistic naturalists, why their view doesn't make sense and why Christianity does. And then I'm being attacked by fellow Christians. And I got it all the time. The first time I really got it was I was speaking at a conference at a church with nobody there but Christians. And it was Craig Hazen was scheduled to speak at it. I remember that. And this is back in probably 2013. I was still at Biola.
Okay.
And the pushback I got from a small percentage of that crowd, Christians, was amazing. Then I went to speak at another conference where this is before I was working with Brett Kunkel, but he was the featured speaker at the time. He was still a stand of reason back then. And same thing happened. And then I started seeing this growing number of Calvinists attacking me online. So it was I was going after atheists, and all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, Calvinists are shooting at me from behind. So since I was being attacked by Calvinists in the church, I decided to turn my fire on them. And that's really why, I mean, you look at my master's thesis, it was nothing to do, I wasn't arguing against Calvinism at all. And I actually wanted, when I did my doctoral work, to continue going after this naturalistic determinism. But the onslaught from the Calvinists, this friendly fire, was so overwhelming. I was like, all right, I'll instead of majoring in getting my PhD in philosophy, I changed it to theology. And I was at a Reformed university. And I said, okay, let's do this. And so, man, I got to tell you, if it wasn't for the friendly fire coming from Calvinism, things would have turned out drastically differently. I wouldn't be doing this right now. So anyway, after I published my book, Human Freedom, Divine Knowledge, and Mere Molinism, I thought, okay, I'm going to address this here, and then I'm going to drop it. And so after I did my dissertation and then published it, I was hoping to stop discussing that topic so much, really. I mean, my plan was to get my PhD in philosophy or theology, wound up being theology, and then to start using that as a platform to discuss how to apply good theology to all things, including cultural issues. Cultural issues was really what was driving much of my vision. But shortly after my book was published, and you'll see this in 2020, I mean, I kind of dropped the whole Molinism, Calvinism, Determinism, libertarian free will thing. And you'll see on the website and on the YouTube channel how I was laser focused on cultural issues for about 3 months.
Yeah.
And then a Calvinistic philosopher named Guillaume Bignon wrote a 50-page blog against my book. And that kind of pulled me back into the waters that I was attempting to get out of. So here's a counterfactual. If Calvinists would have ignored my book, I would have forgotten about them years ago.
Yeah.
But since they pulled me back into these waters, to mix metaphors, the friendly fire coming for them, they're pulling me back into the waters.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll just say this. Since they pulled me back into these waters, I've now made a commitment to drown Calvinism in those waters.